feel like life's just happening around you, like big decisions, bosses, politicians, even friends, they make choices, and suddenly your world shifts, but it doesn't feel like there's any, grand plan.
Oh, absolutely. That sense of chaos or just randomness can be really strong sometimes.
Right. Well, today we're diving deep into a text that speaks right into that feeling. It's Ezekiel chapter 21, verses 18 to 32.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives this incredible snapshot of human decision-making meeting divine will in a way you might not expect.
It really does. It's quite a scene.
So our mission really is to unpack how even when things look totally driven by human methods, maybe even superstition, there might be an unseen hand at work.
Yeah.
We want to explore what God's sovereignty actually looks like on the ground.
Yeah, sovereignty not just as a big abstract idea, but in the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. So God tells Ezekiel right at the start, mark out 2 roads for the Babylonian king's sword.
Yeah, very specific. One road to Rabbah, the Ammonite capital, the other to Jerusalem.
So, picture the king. He's literally at a fork in the road, needing to decide which city to attack first.
A major strategic decision.
Totally. And how does he decide? Our sources are clear.
Okay.
He uses, pagan divination. Shaking arrows.
Like drawing lots, basically.
Yeah, consulting teraphim, these little household idols, and even examining, get this, an animal's liver for omens. It's pure superstition, right? Seems completely human-driven.
It absolutely looks that way on the surface. All these sort of pagan rituals to figure out the future.
So how does that square with the divine plan?
Well, that's what's so fascinating here. Because the text, despite describing all these methods, calls the sword in the king's hand God's sword.
Okay, so it's his instrument, even if the king doesn't realize it.
Precisely. And the outcome, the fall of Jerusalem that follows, is explicitly called God's judgment. So it completely flips the script. It suggests God isn't just passively allowing this. He's somehow weaving these human, even pagan actions into his own purpose. It challenges us not to assume that things looking disconnected from God actually are.
Okay, so the divination happens using these worldly methods, and it points right at Jerusalem.
Straight shot.
And the prophecy then spells out the siege in grim detail. Battering rams shouting siege mounds.
Yeah, total destruction.
But Jerusalem, they think it's a false divination. They're relying on these oaths they swore, maybe treaties they had.
They felt secure. But God, the text says, remembers their guilt, their past actions.
And the judgment is severe.
Yeah.
The turban and crown removes symbols of leadership and identity, gone.
A complete overturn.
And that phrase, ruin, 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 I will make it. It's just finality. Until it says the rightful ruler comes.
Right. Signifying the end of that whole era for them. And it's not just Jerusalem either.
No, you're right. The Ammonites and Rabbah, they get a prophecy too. A swift judgment. A sword drawn for slaughter.
Fuel for the fire. No more remembered. Just wiped out.
So you see this king making a decision based on, chance and superstition, and it leads to these massive predetermined outcomes for 2 nations. What does that teach us about history, maybe even about things happening now?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, this isn't just, ancient history. It's a powerful illustration. God has shown orchestrating events through human choices, even choices made without any conscious reference to him.
Right.
And that really pushes us to ask, doesn't it? When we see leaders making decisions today, or, algorithms shaping outcomes, or public opinion swinging wildly, do we just write it off as purely human, maybe even random? Or could there be something more going on?
That's a challenging thought.
Yeah, because our sources really hammer this home.
Yeah.
Even when people make choices without God, his plan still stands. His ultimate sovereignty, his control, isn't canceled by human plans.
So even in what looks like chaos.
Even then. It's a call to trust that things are unfolding under his sovereign will, even if the process looks messy or, frankly, godless.
That's actually incredibly reassuring. It means your life, my life, isn't just bouncing around randomly. Our future isn't purely in the hands of chance or, someone else's perhaps flawed decisions.
Exactly. It gives a different lens to view things through.
So wrapping this up, what's the main thing you should take away from this dive? We've seen these ancient worldly methods.
Yes, divination, superstition.
It being folded into a much larger divine purpose.
So maybe the thought to leave you with is this. Think about today. Think about, say, a huge corporation using some complex AI algorithm for hiring. feels very technical, very human designed.
Or just the latest trend on social media that suddenly dictates how everyone feels about something.
Right. These modern forms of, you'd almost call them divination things that seem to operate by their own logic, shaping our world. When you see those things, those powerful human systems making decisions, do you believe God is still ultimately in charge? These verses from Ezekiel really encourage us to anchor ourselves in God's word, in his ultimate authority, trusting that he rules over all things, no matter how purely human the mechanisms might seem.